This picture of Doc's showed a Southern California beach that never was. Palms, bikini babes, surfboards, the works. He thought of it as a window to look out of when he couldn't deal with looking out of the traditional glass-type one in the other room. Sometimes in the shadows the view would light up, usually when he was smoking weed, as if the contrast knob of creation had been messed with just enough to give everything an underglow, a luminous edge, and promise that the night was about to turn epic somehow. Except for tonight, which only looked more like work. Oh, hello. I didn't notice you there. I was just busy rereading for the 9th time Thomas Pynchon's 2009 novel Inherent Vice. I don't know if you know this, but I wrote my 2012 60-page English thesis on Thomas Pynchon's novel Inherent Vice. That's what I'm going to talk about right now in this part, because that's one of my favorite things. That's all I'm going to talk about. Things I love the most. Part 5. The Sea of Memory. I was initially going to do a 2-semester thesis, so I had this plan when I was thinking I was going to graduate in 2010. I didn't know I was going to do it on Inherent Vice because this novel was just coming out. It just came out in 2009. Like, it was coming out almost as even before, as I was conceiving the thesis, this novel hadn't come out. I was going to just focus on Gravity's Rainbow, which would have been very difficult to do because that's a big-ass fucking dense-ass fucking book that fucking even after 50 plus years of scholarship, it's still, I think, very enigmatic. Like I said, even Pynchon goes back, he doesn't know what he meant. He's fucking high as hell. But that's the interesting point to flash forward a little bit. So Inherent Vice is a metatext. So Doc Sportello, the narrator, is Thomas Pynchon. It takes place in 1971, and this made-up sort of California place called Gadita Beach, because that's what Thomas Pynchon was at the time. 1971, he was writing Gravity's Rainbow when he was just pretty much locked up in a fucking room on the beach. You know, the myth goes he was just smoking a lot of weed. But I'm gonna get into that. Maybe the myth is a bit. This is a little bit more stuff going on. It's important. It's very essential, actually, to understand the work of Thomas Pynchon as a whole. So Inherent Vice is sort of like is him. You know, he's a private investigator because that's what Pynchon saw himself as a writer. You know, that's what even journalists are. That's what creators are. That's what any kind of artists really are. Is that they investigate the reality around them. And the point that Pynchon's trying to make is that, if this dude's fucking stoned, but that's the thing. Again, the fever dream nature of the American nightmare. And the novel actually, despite its sort of initial Raymond Chandler kind of sleuth gumshoe pastiche, carries through what all of Pynchon's work really does, a scathing critique of the U.S. military-industrial complex, and again, he's Groucho Karl Marx, just shitting all over capitalism. Capitalism is bullshit. And this is like that point, like right when Manson kind of made it so that, again, I've talked about this before, COINTELPRO, again, they always screwed over the black folk. That's why there's so many fucking, and again, people think, just fucking this white-ass fucking book. No, this ain't no fucking David Foster Wallace. Thomas Pynchon's he understands the human condition. Even one of his earliest short stories is about, like, integration, and like how this town is so fucking fundamentally racist that these like white kids have to create an imaginary black friend. Because like the one black kid who lived in town got ran out of town before they could get a chance to meet him, you know. But they don't want to accept their own fucking racism of their parents, so they literally, it's like a real sad story. It's before he even got really experimental. Like, Thomas Pynchon is an amazing author. He's still alive. God damn it. Like, even if he dies, it's like he's about to be 90. He might have another book left in him. You know, his last book was Bleeding Edge, kind of about 9/11 paranoia. But this, again, it's still about what was going on in 2009. That's why there was so many relevant things. You know, in my thesis, I think accidentally was tapped into what we were heading toward, because that's what Pynchon's always talking about. That's what Gravity's Rainbow is about. Again, that thermodynamic, like falling up toward oblivion. That's why the Gravity's Rainbow begins and ends like. But yeah, there's a lot you could talk about. But there's a weird in my own life. So I'm living that girl that I love, Shasta Faye Valentine. When I finally got a chance to do the groundwork for this, like, these are my acknowledgments, okay? Piece it together, it's obvious. But like again, I had to spend so much time writing this that like that was the gap. I think that fundamentally, and you never know. It could have been on borrowed time. Could have already been past this point anyway. Maybe I'm just creating my own myth the way the Doc does, about Shasta throughout this. That part where he talks about looking for that missing piece. That's the point. Is that it's about him, and he finds his redemption through other friendships and through other loves. And it wasn't until again, Jesse Pinkman, Abby Cutey, I was trying to repeat, I think, a similar pattern. And this is a few years down the line. And it's interesting the way my thesis was talking about the cinematic nature of this book before the movie came out. I make lip service to it because my favorite director, really one of my favorite modern directors, is Paul Thomas Anderson, So Magnolia with my mother in the theater. It was awkward. You know what Magnolia is. It was an awkward movie to watch with my mom at that point, at any point. Let alone, I would have never remember Magnolia came out, was it 2000 maybe? So I was like 12 or something. Well, again, I saw Clockwork Orange and I was 9, so whatever. Well, yeah, there Will Be Blood, which I saw in the theater at Trinity. It's amazing. He's an amazing director. So when I saw that he was going to be directing Inherent Vice, my favorite director, and Joaquin Phoenix, kind of a weirdo, but one of the finest method actors. Too much, De Niro, just bro, and the whole the rest of the staff is that cast as well, and of course Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead doing the soundtrack. It was, and when I did my thesis, and not many of these songs made it into the movie, but I had downloaded I'd looked someone made a playlist of all the songs that are mentioned in this, and there are many. It's 60 or 70. And I would just listen to these songs again and again. I would sleep with this under my pillow. It meant a lot to me. I really do love it. But I think really I love more the people it makes me think about. The lovers lost in the sea of time, memory and forgetfulness, unrisen and reclaimed. But the friends I've made, the friends I still have, the tide that always comes back, It's some line in here about, the record skipping and it seems like it's playing the same song, but it's never exactly the same. It's always on a different groove, even if it seems like it's the same thing. But then just fucking put on a new record or just listen to the sounds of the ocean. It's always different. Every wave is something new, some new love. Whether it's just you sitting there yourself, You never walk alone. That's the thing. I'm not trying to be, Jesus, Jesus. I honestly think that God is dead, and the kingdom of heaven is within. It's that Killer Mike thing. Fuck it. A digression unrelated to it, because one of my favorite things is also Run the Jewels. One of my favorite albums is Run the Jewels, and one of my favorite songs is fucking Angel Duster. The Pope is a fraud. Church is a lie. Queen is the same damn thing. Then you should pray to your fake God that she die. God really exists, I tell you like this, he reside inside. Anybody telling you different, just selling you religion, trying to keep your ass in line. I killed my masters, I mentored none. That means when I die, that's it, my style is gone, I'm a one of one. One half of the great RTJ defeated the odds with the war with the gods, earned all our scars and came back straight. But yeah, the point is, Thomas Pynchon's novel Inherent Vice is what I did my thesis on. I don't know if you know this. So the movie comes out. And at that point, I was wooing someone else. That, it's probably for the best that things didn't fully actualize based on my hindsight now. But someone that at least as a friend, and as agape. And as saying, again, reflect. Just if you see reflections of yourself. That's what it's not, and it's not narcissism. It's you finding a way almost to break outside of yourself, if it has to be seeing a little, but that, and then you see yourself through their eyes, and then it most people can't handle that. which is why they create figments and try not to empathize. But I can't help it. It's natural. It's why I suffer through a lot of anxiety sometimes, because people are fucking, trust me, they're high strung, and they're fucking living in lies upon lies upon lies. And it's often not even, yeah, it's the system and it's indoctrination, but sometimes it's like, oh, this is the human condition. Like, people choose to dig deeper and deeper when it's bad enough as it is. So there was this girl. I was kind of wooing her, and we were working together, so it was awkward, but she wanted to see the movie with me. She knew the movie meant a lot to me, and she was like, she met me there in the theater to see it. The first time I saw the movie in the theater with this girl on a date, pretty much. We weren't saying it was a date, but didn't really work out though. Things fall apart. But love is forever. Like, I don't mean like, hey man, you always be, no, like, if it's just for one night, if it's for 1 minute, if like, it's somehow string together decades, like, most people in this world are always bogged down with fucking hate. Love is beautiful. It's that and music is the only redeeming part of this fucked up lot that we do. Valentine's Day itself even is just a goddamn charade of fucking hate and false prophets and false idols. But like, people do make magic happen then. But it's more than gifts. The transactional thing of kindness. What really matters. But I don't know. I said, love thyself, I think some prophet said. Now and then somebody signaled a right turn and cautiously left the line to feel their way toward an exit ramp. The bigger exit signs overhead were completely invisible, but sometimes it was possible to see one of the smaller ones down at road level, right where the exit lane began to peel away. So it always had to be one of those last possible minute decisions. Doc figured if he missed the Gradita Beach exit, he'd take the first one whose sign he could read and work his way back on surface streets. He knew that at Rosecrans the freeway began to dogleg east, and at some point, Hawthorne Boulevard or Artesia, he'd lose the fog, and thus it was spreading tonight, and settled in region-wide. Maybe then it would stay this way for days. Maybe he'd have to just keep driving, down past Long Beach, down through Orange County, and San Diego, and across a border where nobody could tell anymore in the fog who was Mexican, who was Anglo, who was anybody. Then again, he might run out of gas before that happened, and have to leave the caravan and pull over on the shoulder and wait for whatever would happen, for a forgotten joint to materialize in his pocket, for the CHP to come by and choose not to hassle him, for a restless blonde and a stingray to stop and offer him a ride, for the fog to burn away, and for something else this time, somehow, to be there instead. Thomas Pynchon was a heroin addict. And so was his ex-lover in here, his Shasta. Probably many Shastas. Maybe it could be the woman he's now married to, I don't know. That's why he's so secretive, because Thomas Pynchon was addicted to heroin. It was the 60s, it was the 70s, he was at Southside San Francisco. He doesn't remember Gravity's Rainbow was written. That's why I love it, because I was born addicted to heroin. My parents. I've been in so many codependent relationships. That's why I love this book, because it gave me a glimpse, but less than Gravity's Rainbow, which was about oblivion. That showed me that there's hope somewhere, even if it's just you driving those boulevards of regret.